We are members of the chemistry club from Osaka Prefecture Kozu Senior High School. We would like to present our study on the distribution and sources of ozone over Osaka. To start with, let us introduce our study. Firstly, we measured ozone concentrations and accumulated amounts of ozone over Osaka. Secondly, we tested a hypothesis on the generation of ozone with an easy-to-build experimental chamber. We would like to present the following 4 topics. First, what is tropospheric ozone? Tropospheric ozone is ozone in the troposphere which lies between ground level and 10 km above the ground, and its concentration is increasing. Ozone causes damage to many living things, including human beings and plants. In addition, tropospheric ozone greatly contributes to global warming. Photochemical oxidants, which are famous as one of the materials causing air pollution, are said to exist within tropospheric ozone. The main source of ozone, nitrogen dioxide, NO2, is largely produced from cars and factories. As you can see in the right picture, nitrogen dioxide and oxygen changes into ozone and nitric oxide through photodissociation of NO2. On the other hand, the opposite reaction occurs when ozone and peroxide radicals are combined. Our environment is now endangered by increasing levels of ozone. Both of the number of ozone warnings and the average ozone concentration in Japan have been increasing over time. Then, what about ozone over Osaka? The Japanese Ministry of the Environment has automatic air monitoring machines at 92 points in Osaka as an atmospheric, environmental, and regional observation system. They are always monitoring concentrations of various air pollutants such as NO2, ozone, and PM2.5. However, there are no monitoring stations in mountain areas. Therefore, air pollution and ozone levels in these areas are unknown. Ozone concentration was predicted to be low, since NO2 concentration is usually low in mountain areas compared to cities. Even so, ozone concentration in mountain areas is not known well, and that's why we thought it is worthy of investigation. We measured ozone concentration hourly by using a famous method called the neutral carrier method. At the top of these 3 mountains, Mount Myoken, the nearest station is Toyono Public Hall. Mount Ikoma, the nearest station is Ikoma City. And Mount Kongo, the nearby station is Mikachi City. First, let us talk about the results of measurement at Mount Ikoma. In both measurements, we see unstable values, which we thought was due to strong winds unique to the mountains. Next, we compared ozone concentration measured in January and April this year. With values of the nearest monitoring station. As you can see in the 2 graphs, we measured higher values on the top of Mount Ikoma than the nearest monitoring station. Judging from the results, we could say there is more ozone, especially over Mount Ikoma, than the surrounding areas. However, the recorded values come from short-term hourly measurements, and the amount of NO2 in these mountains are probably much smaller than the city. For these reasons, we wondered if there really is more ozone over Mount Ikoma.
We decided to examine the distribution of ozone over Osaka by measuring the accumulated amount of ozone in locations from the Bay section, urban area, residential area, and finally Mount Ikoma itself. The 6 locations we chose are indicated on the map. Before discussing the results, let us introduce the method we used to measure the accumulated amount of ozone called indigo method. It is a measurement method using fading reaction of indigo between ozone. We prepared this equipment and calculated the values. We carried out measurements of accumulated ozone over a period of 48 hours from April 25th to 27th. The graph shows the result. As you can see, there was more ozone as we approached Mount Ikoma in the east. Then, what is the source of ozone in the mountains? It is hardly possible to consider the photodissociation of NO2 because of its low NO2 concentration. Why there is much ozone over Mount Ikoma? We formulated the hypothesis that no methane hydrocarbons are contributing to ozone generation in the mountains. No methane hydrocarbons include all hydrocarbons except methane. Although their concentration is low, most of them are unstable and have a short lifespan. There are various kinds of non-methane hydrocarbons, and here are some of the most common ones. In the 5 gases, one of non-methane hydrocarbons called isoprene is given off by plants, and its emissions are by far the greatest in quantity. For these reasons, we thought isoprene may well be concerned in ozone generation in the mountains. In addition, it has been shown that the balance between mixture ratios of NO2 and hydrocarbons influence ozone generation speed. To confirm this, we tried to reproduce the findings with an easy-to-build experimental chamber. We focused on ozone generation at Mount Ikoma, where ozone concentrations were especially high. This is the equipment we created. The box-shaped one is an air chamber, a space sealed with vinyl, and we produced ozone in this chamber. Ozone is provided by an ozone lamp. During experiments, we monitored ozone concentration in the chamber with an ultraviolet ozone measuring machine. Let's check scale of average concentrations of NO2 and isoprene. We measured 20 ppb and 40 ppb respectively, and carried out experiments at levels thousands of times more concentrated. Again, we tried to reproduce the mechanism of ozone generation in Mount Ikoma using this chamber outside, with the help of the sunlight provided during the final days of summer vacation. However, we must be careful not to misunderstand the measurement. The right picture shows a graph of ozone generation speed, but it does not mean change of ozone concentration. That's why it is not correct to focus on ozone concentration, and we decided to evaluate if ozone is generated or not, according to changes in steady-state ozone concentration measurement. Steady state means a state that ozone concentration becomes stable even when we kept adding ozone into the chamber. For example, the values of steady state in this case is 25 ppb. This is a process of our experiment. First, we made steady state of ozone in the chamber and added isoprene of 10 ml. After ozone in the chamber stabilized again, we added 50% NO2 of 10 milliliter. Next, we evaluated ozone generation by measuring the value of the steady state of ozone at this time.
Finally, we would like to present the results of the experiment. After making ozone concentration steady and adding isoprene first, it settled again at 21 ppb. After that, as soon as we added NO2 in the chamber, the ozone concentration increased up to 50 ppb. This result confirmed our hypothesis that ozone generation speed increases when hollow elements are satisfied. In other words, we succeeded in reproducing the mechanism of ozone generation. As an extra experiment, we tried other non-methane hydrocarbons. When using ethylene, ozone concentration increased slightly. Also, in case of toluene, ozone concentration remained unchanged. From these results, we found that not all of non-methane hydrocarbons have the effect of increasing ozone generation speed. In conclusion, our research found that in mountain areas in Osaka, despite its good experiment and low amounts of NO2, ozone concentrations are high or higher than those in the city. This is because ozone generation speed can be faster than the other areas when elements of NO2, non-methane hydrocarbons like isoprene, ozone, and enough ultraviolet light are satisfied. This is all for our presentation. Thank you for listening.
ありがとうございました。それではご質問をお受けしたいと思います。ご質問のある方、挙手をお願いいたします。はい、ではマイクをお持ちいたします。
In this slide, you obtained the generating curve of ozone against the reaction time. And what kind of the information is obtained from this curve? The ozone is producing is right, but what kind of another information is obtained from this curve?
Another information obtained from this graph, right?
Yes.
When we add non-methane hydrocarbons, the ozone concentration first decreases, since the ozone and hydrocarbons react. However, after adding NO2, the ozone concentration increases again and up to 550 ppb.
The reaction rate constant was observed in this graph, using this curve. How about the efficiency or production ratio, production speed can you obtain from this result?
About ozone generation speed,
Yeah.
We are not sure how much the speed increased. Sorry.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
ありがとうございます。それではお時間が参りましたので以上とさせていただきます。大阪府立高津高等学校の皆さんでした。ありがとうございました。